The travel sector is still in turmoil and many companies out there are struggling. TUI is no exception. If you're not familiar with TUI, they are the world's largest travel and tourism company. They have travel agencies, hotels, airlines, cruises, retail stores. About 6 months ago, if you watch my channel, you may remember that I did a stock analysis video on TUI. But 6 months is a long time, and even longer when there is a global crisis basically putting a halt on everybody's travel plans. Their financials have obviously been affected, so we're going to have a look at some news surrounding them, some price predictions. Is TUI a buy or are they in trouble? And please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so if you are going to invest, you should always do your own research first. And if you find this video useful or interesting, or you just want to help me out, please go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So let's get into it. So I'm going to waste no time with this. We're going to get straight into the facts. This was an article released just a couple weeks ago. TUI reports 2.7 billion loss as COVID crisis devastates travel industry, as we are well aware. That's in pounds there, 2.7 billion. TUI is a German company, so it will be in euros, which would be around about 3.2 billion euros. So we can see here, as we know, they're the largest holiday company within Europe. And yeah, a 3 billion loss there for the full year of 2020. And they're not expecting bookings to return until 2022, which may seem a bit far away, but you know what? We're almost in 21, so a year or so away. Hopefully they'll start to see these bookings return, but that's a long way to go if they're making losses of this sort of amount. And we can see here that their revenues of 7.9 billion, that's in euros, for this year, is 58% down on the previous year. COVID, as we are well aware, has taken a major hit in this sector and major hit on TUI. So what have TUI been doing to try and stay afloat basically? Well, they've managed to secure loans originally of 3 billion euros. That was from the German government, banks, etc. And now, as of late, they've got another 1.8 billion euros from private investors, banks. And, you know, this is good because they've got money on their balance sheet now to stay afloat, to try and help the revenue and the cash flow of this company. But obviously, long term, it's not looking great because that has to be paid back at some point. This is a loan after all. It's not theirs to keep. But they have been trying to cost cut. They've increased it to 400 million this year, cost cutting, which is extra 100 million from the previous year. And back in May, they cut about 8,000 jobs, shut 166 travel agencies. That's not great. You know, we don't want people to lose their jobs, etc. But this company's got to do what it's got to do to stay afloat. So if these shops are just open, not earning them any money, nobody's really booking holidays, you know. Well, maybe now, but in the last year, nobody's been able to really travel. So what's the point of having all of these shops there? They can move this online, and we'll see a little bit in a minute that they have started to move things a little bit more online, which is great. And it goes on to say about how they are planning for 2021, basically, what they're anticipating. And they're currently, summer 2021 are currently 3% higher in bookings than 2019. So that is really good. People are hoping that by the summer, we will all be able to start traveling again. And we can see, obviously, the markets are down 82% lower this winter than the previous year. I think that's to be expected. But yeah, so it's not amazing. Obviously, things aren't looking great in terms of their finances. They've got a lot of debt, making losses at the moment. But they have got a loan, and hopefully this can get them through. We're going to jump in now to have a look at a presentation from TUI very recently. This is a COVID update / some of their financials and outlook going forward. So we're not going to go through all of this because there is a lot in here. This is their full year 2020, which ended just a few weeks ago. So we're getting this right hot off the press here. This is actually on their website just from a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, their full year 20 results are out. And this is their opening statement here. You know, they've said it straight off the bat that this is the greatest crisis that a tourism sector has faced. Okay, and especially for TUI as well in their time of operating. And yeah, there's no surprises there. Things have been shut. Nobody's been able to travel. They're going to mention about the additional 1.8 billion euro in support package that was agreed, which is great again. Hopefully this can, sustain them through to 2021. And just to touch on what we've already mentioned about the 3 billion support package was at the first half of the year. They've obviously had to delve into that and dig into that. And then from the second half, they secured the extra 1.8 billion in the support package there. And we'll have a quick look here at their financials because there's not much more to say really on the COVID update front. You know, traveling, if you're from the UK, then you'll know that we're in the new tier system. So it's going to be a while. And it's the same for everywhere else. Not much progress has happened. You know, people are starting to travel again, but we really don't know when it's going to be able to take off. We've had the vaccine news, etc. So I think maybe come March onwards, we may start to see travelling pick up. But however, it does talk about in the very minute, which we're going to, holiday bookings picking up, which is great. This is a brief look at here at the income statement. We're not going to go too much into their financials in this particular video, but if you can see here, the revenue is substantially down from the previous year, almost half of that, or just over half, I think, actually. So that's a big amount right there. It's dropped off. And the EPS as well, look at that, minus 5.4 in EPS there, compared to the previous year of 0.71, which wasn't amazing, but a lot better than its current EPS, that's for sure. So as expected here, these financials are not looking great. We're seeing a lot of minus, a lot of negative here on this income statement. But I do want to talk about some positives within this company, to be honest, because there is positives. This is in the sector that, you know, it's going to take a while to recover. So let's have a look at their forecast, because that's what we really want to know. We're investing in this, definitely not for any sort of profit within the next week or two. This is going to be a slightly longer hold, that's for sure. And we can see here the world arrivals, how it's expected to increase over the next few years. From 2019, you can see there 1.5 billion in travel and business travel. And then 2020, that dropped down to 0.7. A substantial drop right there. And it's expected by 2022, which, like we said earlier, in 2 years' time, is to return to previous levels back in 2019. So if that's the case, you know, as an investor, that's looking quite promising. It's basically been a blip, a 2-year blip within this company to hopefully get them back on track, which is what we want to see as investors into TUI. And since those global travel bans were lifted, they have seen 3.3 million new bookings, which is huge, okay? And obviously, we know that we're in a tier system now, and other countries have sort of similar lockdowns and sort of stuff. So it's a little bit up and down, but that's a huge increase on bookings since the whole global lockdown thing kind of got lifted. And this is really interesting to see here. This is following trends this year. Each time the vaccine has been announced, we've had the Moderna, the Pfizer, the Oxford. Each time one's been announced, we have seen increase in bookings increase, basically. Even the Black Friday sale, look at the increase on that. That's pretty impressive. Not to mention, obviously, we just had Boxing Day, and TUI actually released a couple days ago £300 off, basically, if you use a code on bookings. So I'm sure that is going to see these sales really, really increase, because people are starting to want to travel again. They're expecting to travel again. So I'm sure this really will help their bookings, actually, in the coming months. There's just one more thing I want to touch on from this presentation, actually, and it's quite a positive thing. This is the TUI Blue app. Since the global crisis, basically, look at this. They have seen an upside of 197% of users. That is incredible. They have 257,000 active users now using this TUI Blue app. So this could, you know, this counteracts the losing of the retail stores, etc. Because now they are going a bit more digital, a bit more online, increasing that presence, which is always great for a company. You know, less overheads, less costs, etc. So things are on the upside. Of course, it's going to take a long time to recover. You know, the market and airlines, they're expecting to see recovery towards the later part of next year. The hotels, they are actually getting booked, and they are actually expecting overcapacities in the short term at least. You know, so things are looking promising. However, is TUI in trouble? You know, if we keep going on how we're going, if there's another lockdown or something like that, then I think so, yes, because they've already taken out a huge amount of loans, basically, from the German government. So I don't know how much more they can do with that. And obviously, long term, I don't think this is a company for me, because they're going to have to pay that back. However, I do think TUI is a good recovery play. Let's have a quick look here at the current share price for TUI. As of the time of recording this, we're at about £4.50. This is the London Stock Exchange one, EPIC code TUI. It's also on the German DAX as well. But yeah, we're looking at the London one. They follow each other, basically. £4.50 currently for the share price. And if we look at where that is from the year to date, it did hit, prior to the crash, it was around about £9.60, so almost £10. So we're down 53% to this date right now. So that's still a massive, massive increase. And we have seen a bit of run-ups here and there. And we're currently trading quite higher than we was at that crash level. We have already recovered 61% from the crash level. That is pretty impressive. So it's been on a bit of a run over these past 6 months, 61%, but we are still, as you can see, substantially down from where it was trading at. So even if it gets to half of that amount, we're still looking here at another 50+% upside, which is incredible. So I really do think, you know, this is if you are going to hold TUI, you've got to be ready to ride those waves. It's going to be volatile. The slightest bit of news in this company could send it crashing back down. So, you know, you can average down if that's what you want to do, but you have to be willing to understand that this is a volatile stock. It could give you great rewards in the future when travel starts to pick up again. Like we say, 2022, the share price could be looking very, very tasty indeed. So yeah, I'm interested to know your guys' thoughts. Do any of you hold TUI? I don't see many investors out there, especially on YouTube anyway, talking too much about TUI or holding this company, despite it being, you know, the world's largest travel and tourism company. That's pretty big, and obviously we know this sector has taken the full brunt of COVID this year. So it could be an amazing recovery play, or they could be in deep, deep trouble. I guess time will tell. I'm holding it for sure and hoping to make at least 100% upside on this overall. It's already looking pretty good for me, and I'll happily have it, hold it and keep getting more and more gains over the next year or two. So yeah, thanks for watching. And like I say, if you've enjoyed this video or found it useful, please go ahead and smash the like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching, and until next time.